Hello, my amazing people, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about therapy. Is there such thing as too much therapy? Do we need it? How do we go about it? So stay tuned as I'm going to go over five or six things that I learned since I started therapy last year. So there was a traumatic experience that me and my family went through about 2 years ago, and I realized that in order to function and to be a wholesome individual within my own little society, aka my family, I needed to start healing myself in order to be able to heal my family, my children, because let's face it, if one person in a family is doing therapy, then all of the other family members can benefit from it. Everyone else can kind of, listen to your advice, and they are becoming more attuned to it. And it's the 21st century. Even my therapist has a therapist. So here are a few things I learned along the journey. Bear with me as I will reveal the most important lesson that I learned from this experience at the end of the video. So let's start. So therapy is a tool. Look at it this way. When you are improving your physical state, you are going to the gym, you start walking, running, taking some kind of activities to improve your flexibility and your health. You have to invest as much money and effort and time into your mental appearance as much as into your physical appearance, because let's face it, how attractive it is to be with someone who is mentally stable. Try it, you would be surprised. Therapy is a process, so no matter how good you think you are at life, there's always someone better. It's a step-by-step process. It gives you so many valuable lessons and explanation as to why you react a certain way, as to why you do certain things, why certain people annoy you, why do you like being in a company of other people. For example, I learned through my therapy since last year that my over-independence is a trauma response at having to deal with certain situations from a young age. Now, having to rely mostly on myself created that mentality that no one can do better than me. And I'm sure most of you can relate to that. We were born in a small country called Moldova in Europe, and my parents had to work hard for their money. So me and my sister, we were both left a lot of times alone. That kind of installed a certain independence in us. We learned to actually face the reality and man up to our decisions. And my therapist explained to me that this is where the over-independence comes in us, and this is why we always work hard for our money, and it's all coming from trauma, let's put it that way. But again, you cannot go back and blame your parents for doing what they did, what they thought was best for us. So that's another thing that I learned in therapy, that you need to man up and be accountable for your own decisions, because everything that happens to you, everything you surround yourself with, it's all a result of your own decisions. So never try to find someone else to blame for them. I'm not saying about something about the extreme situations that you might end up being in. I'm talking about your day-to-day decisions, people you let into your life, people you let out of your life. Everything is correlated and intertwined. So be careful. Get comfortable with being vulnerable. You will not achieve any results without truly opening up. You will waste your time and money. Therapy is not cheap, let's face it. So your traumas will just solidify, and it will take much more time to heal if you do not heal them on time. I really do think that I should have started therapy 10 years ago, but it was like a taboo subject back then. Even back 5 years ago, I don't know about you, but where I come from, people don't talk about their mental problems unless something is really wrong with you. And besides that, before therapy, I would identify myself as a perfectionist. And my therapist noticed that I'm using a lot of word perfect. Everything that I'm talking about, whether it's a workout, whether it's a dinner I had with my friends, a lot of it has the word perfect in it. And then she told me that you are such a perfectionist in your life, and the minute you're gonna understand that not everything is black and white, it's gonna make it so much easier for you to accept certain faults from other people, because you have such high expectations of yourself. You have the same kind of expectations from everyone that is surrounding you, whether it's your children, whether it's your parent, whether it's your friends or whoever you work with. So that puts a lot of anxiety and a lot of pressure on me as a human being. So it's very rare for anything to be black and white. It's usually more of a gray area. So you have to work to move past this type of thinking, because it elevates an unnecessary burden, and it leaves room for some kind of hiccups, some kind of right or wrongs here and there, and mistakes. and everything that life throws at you. So here is number one thing that I learned in therapy that really helped me personally, is that fears are often unclear thoughts. We all have fears. It's normal. It's phobias. Everyone lives with a certain phobia in their life. You know, in the United States of America, phobia has about 10% of the population, including fear of reptiles, insects, social situations, personal failure, and public speaking. In therapy, I realized that many of my fears weren't clear thought out in my mind. They were more like ominous clouds that were banging or hanging over my head. And I came to the realization that when I actually put a face and a description to the fear, it's not that bad after all. It's not that scary. It's fine. Everyone has certain phobias and fears. For example, with the fear of public speaking, ask yourself, what is it scary about that? So your reasons can include that you might, I don't know, stumble upon words and not be clear enough. You might forget what you have to say. I don't know, the public might not be interested in what you have to say. And then go through your mind and think, I understand that these are all valid concerns, but now think, what would actually happen if those fears came true? Would people laugh at you? Oh, that's not likely. Would someone actually talk about you stumbling upon a word? I don't think so. So the main question is, would it cause any kind of irreversible damage? Anything that you cannot fix? Probably not. These consequences are not likely to happen. Messing up would be, of course, a bummer. You wouldn't feel good about it. But the consequences are not as terrible as this cloud of fear is making you think they would be. So whenever something clouds your mind and something stops you from doing a fear or a phobia, from doing something that you like or you want, stop and think, what's the worst that can happen? So instead of letting this fear paralyze you, ask yourself, why am I scared of this? What's the worst thing that can happen? You might find that the reality isn't actually scary at all. So if you liked this video, please do watch my other video, which is from a book that I read recently, The Elephant and the Brain. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy it. Subscribe and stay tuned for my next video, where I will be talking about how I patented my invention. So I will see you soon.